How's it going, everyone? Yosef back here with another video, and I hope you're having an amazing week so far. Today, we get to review something really cool. I've seen a few of these things drive around, and I never really knew about them or where you could buy them, but today we are gonna find out, and it is a golf cart. I know what you're thinking, Yosef. Why do I care about a golf cart? They're boring, they're not really exciting. But trust me, this is crazy. When I saw this thing driving around, I was shocked. So we're gonna take a quick drive to the mall, Aventura Mall here in South Florida, because that is where I got to see it initially. Let's go check it out. But before we get into the video, if you're new to the channel, my name is Yosef. I happen to be a car enthusiast with 3 kids, and I used to sell cars in the past. So if you're interested in my perspective, please subscribe. All right, now on with the video. Okay, so here's the thing. Let's say you've got between $10,000 and $15,000 to spend, and you want something crazy, something that's electric, that will take you around the city so you don't have to pay for gas and you don't have to take your car out. And you want something that's gonna show off a little bit and say, look at me, I got money to blow on something really fun. Or maybe you just play golf a lot and you just want the craziest golf cart that you have ever seen. Well, the Sunshine Carts has exactly what you need. You see, this is not a question that a lot of people want to get answered, but when I was walking through the mall and I saw this, I just thought, this is crazy. I've got to find out more about this. So my buddy Noel here from the Sunshine Carts has invited me to make a video about these really cool electric golf carts. Most people, when they're kids and go to golf courses, they see these white, boring golf carts, and they don't go very fast and not very interesting, and they literally just take you from point A to point B. But who says you can't do that with style? Who says that you can't do that with something a little bonkers, crazy, over the top? Well, that's what the Sunshine Carts has for you. So let me tell you a little bit about them. They've been in business now for just over 1.5 years, and they've got 4 locations already all across Florida. It's wild to see how big of a business this really has become over here. And it makes sense. Florida is the Sunshine State. There's so much great stuff happening all year round because there's no snow. They don't have that terrible weather to worry about. So you can cruise around in these things and not have to worry all year round. And the craziest thing about them is they're water resistant. All the body panels, the electrics in there, they're all designed for the weather. So you can hose them down after a day at the course and you got a pristine, clean looking golf cart to cruise around in at night when you want to. And the nice thing about them is they're made with a lot of automotive parts. So the batteries are all things that you can get pretty easily. All the wheels and tires, the rims, those are things that you can source pretty easily as well. So They're designed with future-proofing in mind, and they have a 3-year warranty as well. Now, I'm not sponsored by them, but I was just amazed at how cool these things are. So let's go take a look at them in a little more detail. And then at the end, we'll go for a drive, and I'll tell you what I think. Is it worth $10,000 to $15,000 to get one of these? Well, today we're gonna find out. All right, so let's talk about the power and performance. Now, this thing's got an electric motor that's made it to the rear wheel. So you get rear wheel drive with this thing, and it'll give you about 25 miles of range and will take you up to about 25 miles an hour, which is wild to think you can go that fast in a golf cart. And if we take a look under the driver and passenger seat, that's where the battery is. It's a 5.3 kilowatt hour battery. It's an eco-friendly battery, and it allows you to charge it over about 6 to 8 hours from start to finish. And you can do it in your normal 110 powered charger. So you don't have to worry about getting a Tesla supercharger or anything like that. All you do is plug it into the wall, and between 6 to 8 hours, you've got a fully charged battery, and it won't overcharge, which is nice. So you can plug it in, leave it overnight, and not have to worry about it at all. And if you go away, it also won't completely deplete the battery. It's a smart system, and it knows to only deplete it in small chunks, which is kind of neat. And if you wanted more range, all you have to do is upgrade the battery. This is removable, and you can put a larger one in there if you wanted. All right, so let's talk about styling. And well, what can you say about it? This thing just looks totally mad. I mean, you've got these enormous wheels and tires. They look like they came off of some hot rod from back in the day. And they're on 14-inch rims that could have come off of a G-Wagon in terms of style. They just look so cool. And even on the front end, everything is LED. No halogen bulbs here. And you've got the Epic logo that lights up. It looks really cool. And of course, you've got a brush guard in the front as well. Just in case you bump into anybody, you can knock them off the road. And I love the way they've designed the window over here. If you want it to be completely open, you can fold this down. But if you want to bring it up, you absolutely can. So you can close it up and be sheltered from the wind and the elements. And otherwise, you've got these really cool mirrors that stick out with, of course, some LED turn signals, because this is street legal. You need to have your turn signals and headlight system and brake lights and all of that if you're going to be able to drive these on the road. And the cool thing is you can drive these anywhere where there is a 35 mile an hour speed limit, which basically covers most of the streets here in South Florida outside of the main highways and things like that. The neat thing is also you've got car paint for the bodywork. So if it scratches and smudges, you can take it to a body shop and get resprayed, and it looks really sharp. And taking a look at the side profile, you'll notice that you've got these really cool running boards. These are an optional extra, but in my opinion, probably a necessity for getting in and out really comfortably, because it is rather high off the ground. And you've got all these really cool details with the LED lights that run across. And of course, it says Epic in a backlit font. And one of the unique features about this is, of course, you've got no doors. So you're running completely open. Makes it easy to get in and out on the golf course. But if you're picking up friends and you just want to go for a cruise down the street, you have no doors, nothing to really keep you restricted. And it gives you a very unique open concept experience driving around. On the back end, you've got a few really cool options over here. Again, you've got your turn signals, your hazard lights, you've got your brake lights, and you've got this really unique trunk. And if you open it, you'll notice you've got some storage back there. Don't mind all the stuff in there, but it's really cool that you've got some storage back here. So if you did want to use this as a vehicle to just grab some groceries or pick the kids up from school, you've got the ability to do that. You're not locked for storage. And because it's an open vehicle, you have the ability to lock this trunk, which definitely makes things a bit more secure if you're going to leave it unattended for a period of time. And if you're going golfing, you'll notice that you've got these straps where you can put your golf bags, and you can actually remove this entire trunk if you wanted to. And that way you've got room for holding your golf bags over there. And you've got this optional extra as well to have these coolers added on. So if you're going for a picnic on the ride as well, you've got the ability to put some ice in there, get some cold beers, and just have a lot of fun. And it's crazy, but if we take a look up here, you've got all these LED lights that go around the roof or the top part of the golf cart. And it just adds so much style and character to this thing. It looks crazy. I can only imagine what it would be like driving down the road at night, blasting some music and getting all the attention from these crazy lights. Moving to the inside of the Epic, you'll notice that you've got a few really distinct features here. Number one, you've got this really awesome steering wheel that looks like it came off of, I don't know, a Volkswagen or Audi product. It looks very cool. And of course, you've got the Epic logo right there in the center, and you've got a functioning horn. Take a listen. One other cool thing about this steering wheel, not only is it really chunky and sporty looking, but you can adjust it. So if you wanted to take your kids for a little drive, you can pull on this lever. So you can teach your kids how to drive this thing by lowering the steering wheel, which is a really awesome thing. Another cool thing is you've got your turn signals and light stalks coming off the steering wheel. These are like regular turn signals in any other car. They function exactly as you would expect. They're made of some really durable plastic, and that's something that's important because you want this thing to hold up over time. And of course, you've got some cup holders over here just to make it easier to go for a ride and stay hydrated. And you've got a little glove box over here as well, which is backlit. You've got a light in there. So if you wanted to put stuff in there and be able to see it at night, of course, you've got a light element in there, and it's lockable. So you can leave whatever you want, a wallet, a purse, something like that in there, and not have to worry that somebody is going to steal it while you're gone. Another optional extra in here, if we take a look a little bit lower down, is we've got these really cool backlit speakers, and they sound pretty awesome. It's a great way to go and enjoy the golf course or go for a little night cruise, have those lights going on and the speakers blaring. You can have quite a party in this thing. Of course, you've got these aluminum pedals, which just add to the excitement and make this thing look a little bit more sporty. Taking a look at the seats, you've got this really nice looking design for these seats, but there are other options. You can get the quilted version, like what we have over here, and these just look so cool. I mean, they wouldn't look out of place on a high-end vehicle, and it's on a golf cart. You've got some really nice stitch work, and of course, either way, all these seats, they're designed to be in the element, so they can get wet. You don't have to worry about them getting damaged. You can hose them down, and they will hold up over time. In terms of other features over here, of course, you've got your drive mode selector. It's not just hitting the brake or the gas pedal. You can switch between a reverse, neutral, drive, and a sport mode. Who would have thought you get a sport mode on a golf cart? But when you put this thing in reverse, you actually have a backup camera, which is, again, not something you would expect from a golf cart. You also have buttons here for your headlight system, your hazard lights, and you can open up the front trunk from here as well, which I'll show you in a second. But before we get there, you've got a wireless charge pad over here as well. That's backlit, so you've got a nice piece of ambient lighting in there. You've got this really nice metallic looking trim, which looks very cool. And you've got another glove box over here and a spot to put your umbrella. So how about this infotainment system? Well, if you take a look at the screen, it's a rather large screen and the colors are pretty good. The black levels are okay. It's not the highest quality screen that you can get. Obviously, this is a relatively reasonably priced vehicle. It's not a Mercedes S-Class, but for what you're getting over here, it's actually quite nice. You've got USB music and you can play movies over here. You've got an FM tuner. You can connect your phone with Bluetooth. You don't get Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and there are no maps or navigation systems built into here. So you're going to have to use your phone, but otherwise it's a really nice looking screen and it's a touch screen. So you can play around with it and it gives you a lot of good information just about temperatures and your trip. And the fact that we have a screen in a golf cart is already a huge deal. So, I mean, this is a pretty amazing system that we've got. So if you want to get into the glove box, all you do is you press that button over there. It pops this really tiny hood. And if you lift it up, you've got a little bit of storage. It's not a lot of space back here. As you can see, this is the size of my hand in there, but it is nice that they put a light in there. So even if you're checking stuff out at night, you don't have to worry about not being able to see it. And closing it, just pop it back in and away you go. Most golf carts wouldn't even think about having an open area over here for some storage. Really nice that we've got that option here, even though it is rather small. Moving to the back of the Epic, again, you've got another 2 seats over here with a full seatbelt system, which is very important to be road legal. In the back here, you also have cup holders, so you're not left empty-handed. And you've got these little netted areas if you wanted to put, well, a notebook or something over there, and these really chunky grab handles because, of course, going 25 miles an hour down the street, you're probably going to want to hold on for dear life. But otherwise, it's really cool. You've got a ton of space back here, a lot of leg room, obviously a tremendous amount of headroom, and you've got these grab handles over here as well. And if we lift this portion up, this is where the motor is, as I showed you before, but you also get this really nice plastic cover. So if you wanted to put some stuff in here without it getting overheated and getting stuck in the engine compartment, this is where you can see all the different colors that they have all these things in, which is also very cool to see. But you've got a little bit of storage back here that's not locked, but nice to have in case you want to hide some stuff. Now, one of the cool things about this is they've got so many different variations. You've got 2-seaters, you've got 4-seaters, you've got, in this case, a 6-seater version. So you can really get a version that fits your lifestyle and your needs. And you can also get a version with this really cool sound bar at the top. So if you need a little bit more sound power, you've got that. And man, these things sound really cool. One thing to mention about the suspension over here, we've got double wishbone suspension, which is technology that you get on modern cars. I mean, that's sporty. And what's crazy about it is it doesn't creak or make any squeaks when you're going over bumps. And it allows it to be a lot more stable when you're going at high speeds and taking corners and going off-roading. And what I've been told is you also have the ability to lower it. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but apparently there's a relatively straightforward process if you want to get that ride height a little bit lower, so you've got a more stanced look, or maybe you don't have to climb so high to get in. So the big question that I want to find out is, how does this thing drive? Well, let's find out. Okay, so how does this thing drive, and should you buy one? Well, let's find out. I still can't believe I'm driving this thing around. It's so crazy. I mean, you look at these things and just like, this is a totally insane version of a golf cart if I ever saw one. Of course, we've got our seatbelts. Safety first. All right, let's go. Now, right away, I have to say the driving position is, well, like a golf cart. So you get in here, you're sitting up pretty high, and the center of gravity is relatively high on this thing. So you always have that fear, is this gonna tip over? Am I gonna be able to get around the corners? I don't know, but it seems like with the suspension they've got on here, it's well catered for. It's designed for this. So how does this thing drive? What's it like going around on the streets legally with a golf cart that has all these crazy wheels and speakers and lights and all that kind of stuff? Well, it's crazy. I mean, it's like nothing I have ever experienced before. I've driven a lot of cars. I've driven a lot of interesting toys. I've driven snowmobiles and ATVs and stuff like that, but this thing kind of brings it to another level. I mean, it's completely open here. You can close this window, which I've done just to help with the wind and so I can mount my camera. But you can have a totally open experience here. And in places like Miami or in South Florida, it just makes so much sense. You know, you've got great weather most of the year around. You've got all this beautiful scenery. Why would you not want to cruise around like this on a daily basis? And I think one of the really cool party pieces is, you know, if you're just going out for a quick drive somewhere, you have to pick something up, you're dropping your kids off at school, or maybe you have to go grab a couple things from the grocery store. Instead of taking the car out, why not take something like this? I mean, it's just so crazy and such an awesome thing to think about. So how does it actually drive? Well, surprisingly, it drives pretty well. I mean, it's got double wishbone suspension and it feels really compliant. It's not bouncy, but it is still a harsh-ish ride. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a golf cart, so you have to keep that in mind. And overall, the steering is pretty numb. I mean, it's still a golf cart at the end of the day, so there's not much you can expect from that, but it's just cool. I mean, you have no doors and you still have mirrors and a horn and turn signals and all of that kind of stuff, and it feels like such a great thing to be able to cruise around in. So should you get one? Well, that really depends, because this is the ultimate expression of a toy. You know, as an adult, as somebody who loves motor vehicles, I would love to buy something like this. I mean, it goes pretty fast. It's got all the bells and whistles. You've got great sound system. You've got lights. You've got things that just make you feel like a child. And it's a great way to show off to your friends if you wanted to. But it's also practical. I mean, you've got a trunk in the back, you've got a trunk in the front, you've got seating, in this case, for 5 or 4, and you've got a lot of space. So if you just wanted to go out and enjoy a ride with the kids and hang out with them, or just show off on the weekend, or go to the golf course and have something that nobody has, there's nothing else on the market, in my opinion, that competes with this, or that would do anything remotely as cool as this. So is it worth it? I mean, if you've got between $10,000 and $15,000 to spend on a toy, absolutely. I don't know what else you could drive on the road other than those really crazy track vehicles, but they're not practical. You can't take your kids out in them. This you can. And the steering wheel is adjustable, so if you want to have fun with them on your private property and let them drive around too, you could do that as well. It's just so cool. And I gotta say, the seats are also really comfortable. I'm surprised. I wouldn't have expected them to be so plush and soft, and they're pretty awesome. So it's kind of enjoyable driving this thing around, and it's nice that we've got all this visibility with the mirrors. So that's pretty cool. And one thing's for sure, you're definitely gonna turn heads. I mean, you cruise around with one of these on the road and people will notice you. Here in South Florida, you know, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Dubai and places like that, or Vegas, where a lot of people have really crazy stuff. But I don't know, I haven't seen these around too much. Maybe I'm still new here in South Florida, I need to see that. But I mean, if you drive around with this, you are definitely going to grab attention, especially at night with all the lights and the speakers and all that kind of stuff. So you can buy a high-end exotic sports car, or you can buy one of these and turn just as many heads for a lot less money. All right, so I've been told there's a sports mode in here, and if I put it in the sports mode, it'll give me a burst of power and torque. So I'm going to turn onto one of these small streets over here, and we're going to put it into the sport mode and just see how it goes. All right, so I'm going to switch now to the sports mode. We're going to floor it. Hopefully everything will survive in here. Let's see. Not bad. I mean, I wouldn't say it'll blow your mind in terms of speed and power and performance if you're used to anything that's remotely quick, but it's pretty cool. And it goes faster than you might expect. Actually, in the sports mode, I find the responsiveness of the throttle pedal is a little bit more. So maybe that'll help with the driving experience. You want to feel a little more sporty. It works. Okay, so all the joking aside, what do I really think about this thing, and is it worth getting? To be honest with you, I really do think this is a great idea, and it's not just a great idea if you want to have something for yourself just to look cool in, but you know, if you wanted to start a small business, shuttling people around in your neighborhood, you know, doing something like bar hopping or something like that, you know, you've got a tool that you could do that with and do it in a really cool and creative way. So I could imagine that you can get a return on your investment. It's not just a pointless toy that will cost you money and won't really give you anything in return. So it is worth it if that's something that you might be interested in doing. And if you just want a toy that's going to allow you to cruise around and look really cool and be the boss at the golf course and just cruise around at night, I mean, this is a really awesome toy to do it in. So overall, definitely is worth it. Obviously, you need to spend $10,000 to $15,000 depending on the configuration. And if you have that kind of money to spend, I don't see why not. For me personally, it's a little out of budget, but it was really cool driving this thing around. And I have to give a massive shout out to Noel and Elissa, who lent me this amazing golf cart, because if it wasn't for them, obviously we would never get this kind of experience. And they're really amazing people. They're super kind and friendly, and they answered all the crazy questions that I had about it. So if you are coming and interested in getting one of these things, definitely check them out. Let them know that you saw this video on Driver's Edge and that Yusuf sent you, and they will definitely take care of you. So that's all I've got to say about this epic golf cart. Thank you again so much to everyone here. Thank you again for you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. It was definitely fun for me to do, and I'll catch you in the next one.